Hi, my name is Kristen, and my literature review was focused on the issues regarding non-traditional students in online education. And one of the things that I took away from doing that research was that it was really hard to nail down a really good, solid definition of the non-traditional student. When I was reading the research, it seemed that a lot of the categories that non-traditional students fell into, what would make them considered non-traditional, were really broad and really encompassed so many different types of students. One of the best definitions that I came across was actually by Joanne Funk and her article called At-Risk Online Learners, Reducing Barriers to Success. I noticed that when I read this article, a lot of the things that she used to identify at-risk learners were actually the same that other articles were using to identify non-traditional students. There were things like being financially independent, working full-time, having children, being from a particular socioeconomic status, or even having a disability. I think that it would be really important to nail down this definition if we as educators were going to begin to have the conversation about solving the issues for these non-traditional students. I think that we really need to focus on who those students are, what problems they face in particular, and then we can begin to focus on, how to solve those issues. So the kind of study or evaluation that I would like to conduct is really a quantitative research project to take a particular university, a particular online program, and really get the numbers on how many of those students fall into the categories that were identified. I think that it would be really important to know, for example, if more than half of your online students are working full time, then that might change the approach that the university has when creating things like orientations, for example, for those online students. Um, I think that I would ask questions just to get those numbers, so to get how many students fall into this category or a different category. I think that the way I would take a look at that data and analyze it is to really just focus on how do those numbers compare with the students who don't fall into those categories. And I think the biggest ethical consideration is really just that we would be dealing with very personal information. So great care would have to be taken to keep the results anonymous. So that's the kind of research I would like to conduct. Thank you.